It's the cool Bible guy!
What's up, guys? It's Steve, the cool Bible guy, and today's verse of the day is Psalms 27, verse 4, which reads, "One thing I have desired of the Lord, that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple." Now, the level of negative emotions young people are plagued with today is far higher than it needs to be, and I believe that's because the distance between God and many young people today is far too great. So if you're feeling stressed or anxious or lost or lonely or any other negative emotion, there is a way to overcome it. Today, we're going to talk about 7 different ways we can apply this verse in real life. Applying Psalms chapter 27, verse 4 to your life today involves incorporating the underlying principles of deep spiritual yearning, devotion, and seeking God's presence into your life. Here's a few ways that we can do that, so let's get into it.
Let's start by taking one step closer to heaven.
The first thing is you want to wish I could talk. You want to prioritize a spiritual connection, and this is because it's just like any other relationship, and we've talked about this on other episodes, where if you don't put effort into any relationship or a relationship, then there is no relationship, and that goes for your relationship with God or anyone else. So I like to build my connection with God during my walks with my dog. Now, if for you guys, you have to set aside a time. So that's what I mean by prioritize. That means they set aside a time, like pick a time in the morning. For me, I think the morning is best because you kind of kick off your day on a good note. You know, at the end of the day, if you want to do both, great, extra credit for you, good job, not a problem. For me, I think kicking off the day on a good note is a better way to do it, in my opinion, because then you start on a positive, and then you can carry that positivity into your day, and you don't have to like borrow from yesterday. You know what I mean? I think that's a good thing, but it could be in the middle of the day. Maybe you just got to find time. But whatever it is, just like find a time in your calendar where you can just set aside 5 or 10 minutes and just and build that relationship and just talk to God and ask him for help, thank him for what he's given you so far. Whatever the connection is in your relationship with God, build on it. The seeds are planted, so nourish those seeds. And as you nourish those seeds, what you're going to find out, this bleeds into number 2, which is to seek God's guidance. And just as David expressed a desire to inquire in the temple, you want to seek God's guidance as well. You want to spend time in prayer, asking for wisdom and discernment in various aspects of your life. I mean, think about the time in your life where you've tried to do something new, and for example, you probably sucked at it, because anytime anybody tries to start something new, you suck. That's just like the rule. And I know for a fact that whenever I try something new and I have a mentor or a coach or someone to guide me along the way, I know my learning curve is much faster and I get better at that thing, whatever it is, a lot quicker than if I didn't have that person in my life guiding me. So think of God as that person for you. When you're trying to improve your life, when you're trying to live your life to the best means possible, go to God and ask him, hey, I need some help here. Help me get to, you put me on this earth for a reason. Help me be that person. Just show me the way.
And if I win, you show me the way out. Yes.
The third thing I want to talk about is cultivate awe and reverence. What's that silly video on YouTube where the guy sees the 2 rainbows and he just starts like crying? And it's just like... It's a hilarious video. Now, I understand he's in awe and he's experiencing the true beauty of the earth, and he's just blown away by how beautiful it all is. And honestly, that's a great thing. It really is. The fact that he has that much appreciation for the 2 rainbows appearing in this beautiful landscape in front of him, and I mean, that's pretty awesome. It really is. I'm not saying you have to get to that level of awe in order to show awe and reverence to God. I'm saying it's like, why don't you take a second on the way to work or on your walk with the dog or whatever it is. Maybe you're hanging out with your kids in the park, whatever, and you just look at a flower and you just notice like, wow, that's a really beautiful flower. Like how cool it is to have something so beautiful. Or maybe it's your church and how beautiful the church is and what an amazing thing it is to see your community come together in one place of worship. Like that's a cool thing. And how cool is it? You see a group of people in a community all come together for a common cause and really help somebody else. What I'm saying is, with God, cultivate that awe around what God is capable of and what his creation is capable of. The fourth thing is you want to create a sacred space for yourself. And I think
I need space.
my sacred space is when I'm walking the dogs by myself, because the dogs don't talk and the kids never stop talking. So
You know how much I sacrifice?
So it's like, for those of you who are parents and you have had young children before who are under the age of 3 and 4, you know there is no such thing as a quiet moment alone in your house until they get a little bit older. So you got to create some sacred spaces. And where can you find some time to connect with God? It's not just when, it's where. Where can you sit in peace and find it? For me right now, I mean, even the front car seat by myself when I go to work is the quiet space. And that's the best I can find, just the front driver's seat of my car. And my wife calls it windshield time. I think that's a great description for for it. So for those of us who are busy, maybe windshield time is what we need. If you have the ability to create a sacred space, maybe my wife likes book nooks a lot. So we built her a little bit of a library in our house so she can go there to, enjoy her time. The fifth thing we're going to talk about, it's called lifelong commitment. So this whole spiritual journey that we're on, it's a lifelong thing. It doesn't end until God calls us home. You're going to keep learning. The journey's never going to end until death shows up. So in personal growth and development, there's a thing called destination thinking. You don't want to think in destination thinking. You want to think, do it now and engage now. Lifelong commitment is lifelong. You've got the lifelong to do it. So as long as you engage every day and you commit every day to being a good person for God, and you utilize the gifts and you share the gifts that God gave you with the world around you, then that's using God's gifts the right way. Utilizing your talents the way they were supposed to be used. That's exercising the commitment that you promised God. Man, that was a lot harder to get out than it should have been, right? Jeez. The sixth thing on this list is you want to integrate your faith into your daily actions. This could be something as huge, or this could be something small. To be honest with you, the small things matter just as much as the big things, and the small things will happen more frequently than the big things. But for example, this is a small thing that happened in my life. I was with my two boys at the grocery store, and my one son, I buy them those little pouches for kids that they eat. And so basically what happened is I bought them all. My one son never wants to let his go. So I pulled it out of his hand. Of course, he got upset, but I didn't realize he had another one in his hand. So I had a feeling I might have forgotten it. So as we checked out, I got my receipt, and I just wanted to make sure that I paid for everything. As I'm walking out, I noticed that I did not pay for one of the pouches my son had in his hand. So integrating my faith into my daily actions, thou shalt not steal. I technically, now that I'm conscious of the fact that I didn't pay it, and if I still leave, now I'm stealing because I'm conscious that I didn't pay for it and I got out of the store with it. So integrating my faith into this was, hey, let's go back in the store and buy this thing, which that's what I did. That's what I'm talking about. Now, that's not a huge thing. It's not an earth-shattering thing. It's not something anybody even knew until just now because it was so little, but that's what I'm talking about. When you live your life according to God's will and guidance and direction behind closed doors when no one's paying attention, that's when it matters most. I cannot stand when I see online someone filming themselves giving a homeless person food or a drink. It's dude, are you serious? You really need that much attention? Why don't you just give them the food? You don't need them to record it, because think about how that makes the homeless person feel on the other end of it. It's well, this guy's only giving me this food because he wants followers on Instagram or whatever the hell. That's annoying. So do it when no one's looking. Study and reflection. You want to take time to study scriptures, the spiritual text, and all of the teachings that we all grew up learning. Guys, let's put it this way. If you don't study your notes, then you fail the test. That's kind of how it works in school, right? So the same thing here is when you don't study the Bible and you don't pay attention to God's laws and you don't pay attention to his advice and direction, then you start to wander off the path, and that's when things get ugly. How about we not let things get ugly in our life, and we want things to be happy and pleasant? So let's adhere to God's guidance and direction and study and reflect upon what he's got in scripture for us in the best way we can. Makes sense, right? Easy, simple. Let's focus on that. As always, remember, we are all on this personal journey. Everybody's going on a unique journey, so everybody's going to apply these in their own special ways, and that's totally fine. That's what makes life cool, fun, and interesting. Guys, apply these in the best way that you see fit for your life, and let's end on a prayer. God, you are worthy of my praise. I'm grateful that no matter my circumstances, I can be loyal because I know you are good. Thank you for loving me despite my mistakes I've made, and for being close to me at all times. I love you, Lord. Thanks again. In Jesus' name, amen.